To the team in Cape Town, Michael Bass and Bryn Russell and all the boys there that are involved in this horse.
Marsh's colours, always nice to see them first past the post.
The interesting news is I had a chat to Walter this morning, and he's very convinced he's got it right. He's going to supplement this horse in the July, okay? He said, this is a July runner. So I said to him, why? He said, it's the worst bunch of 3-year-olds he's ever seen. So I said, where's his 3-year-olds? He says, no, he's warming them up in Cape Town for next year. So I said, well, what else is in the July? He says, there's only 2 horses in the race. He says, Punta Arenas and Jet Explorer. He says, forget the rest. He said, those are the only 2 horses in the race. And he reckons River Crossing's in that league. And I said to him, well, on that basis, he probably wouldn't get in.
It's a free world. You can supplement whoever you like, and I'm going to plead the 5th from this point onwards in respect of River Crossing's chances of getting into the Vodacom Durban July. Won well, but behind him, Penhaligon, Silver Play, Jeppy's Reef, nice stayers, but Vodacom Durban July material, not for me.
Well, that was Walter's take on it. I can tell you that's hot off the press. I had a chat with him this morning. Marky thinks he's lost his marbles. And
you can tell him whether or not River Crossing gets in or not if he supplements him. We will invite him and his team to the Vodacom Durban July. Yeah. So if it's seats they're looking for, they've got those anyway.
Yeah, okay, so he doesn't have to worry about the seats. So forget paying all that money to supplement your horse, Walter. Let's go and have a look at the Willavington 2000 for the fillies. And this is always appointed to the July. I'm not sure this year was.
Steps up. Willavington 2000, grade 1, 2,000 metres, runners dispatched, and Jet Supreme jumped very awkwardly when the starters hit go, and Nonky Poo's one of the trailers. Blue Ridge Mountain at the rail is right there, but Priceless Jewelers on the move. Do You Remember's back in 3rd position, then comes Jet Bell. Cherry on the top, Yellow Sleeves and Cap is on the outside of Nonky Poo, and then comes El Kendi, and at the back of the field is Jet Supreme, 7-8 lengths off the leader, and Priceless Jewelers taking them along and setting a nice pace up front, leading her by 3 lengths. Blue Ridge Mountain is a clear second, and then comes Do You Remember. Jet Bell is at the rail with the red cap, Cherry on the top, Yellow Sleeves and Cap on the outside of Nonky Poo, El Kendi and Jet Supreme the last 2, and they're now 8 or 9 lengths off the leader. Priceless Jewel is certainly going to test the stamina of Blue Ridge Mountain, but is keeping off that inside running rail now. Blue Ridge Mountain is back second. Black Sleeves and Cap travels sweetly at this stage. 2 lengths away, Jet Bell, then Do You Remember. Nonky Poo is on the inside. Cherry on the top at this stage, got about 8 or 9 lengths to make up. And then comes Jet Supreme and Al Kendi. They move now towards the 700-metre marker, and Priceless Jewel is still the leader. Gone again, 5-6 lengths in front. In second is Blue Ridge Mountain, and then comes behind that Jet Bell, Do You Remember? Cherry on the top gives Blue Ridge Mountain 5 lengths. They're followed by El Kendi, and then comes Jet Supreme. Top of the stretch, and the leader, Priceless Jewel. Blue Ridge Mountain's going to make an early move. Can Cherry on the top quicken with her? And it's Blue Ridge Mountain at the 200-metre marker. Priceless Jewel down the inside, Jet Bell. Cherry on the top is now looking for the room. And it's Blue Ridge Mountain, the leader. Cherry on the top is hard ridden. Do You Remember's coming home well. Jet Bell on the inside. Blue Ridge Mountain's digging in deep. Blue Ridge Mountain, Do You Remember? Here's the line. Do You Remember won it from Blue Ridge Mountain, Jet Bell, then Cherry on the top.
Well, the shock of the weekend, that filly got beaten, Graeme.
Clearly ran below form. Obviously the collateral form between Do You Remember and Jet Bell was kind of confirmed. Blue Ridge Mountain was always the unknown quantity. She came out at different form lines, and whether she would stay or whether she wouldn't. I thought she got a peach of a ride from Anton Marcus, but was just not good enough by a very narrow margin on the day. 3-year-olds again, the form is a bit muddly. This race and the Daily News, when they go across the line with Shorthead separating them all, they can't all be champions. But I think we can safely say in the Willavington that Cherry on the top just ran well below form.
Okay, well, shall we move on and have a look at the Colts version, which is the Daily News, and always a big July pointer. Was it this year? Let's go and have a look.
It's the red cap from a good draw. Gavin Larina, Mike DeCog. Daily News 2000, grade 1. They're set. Runners dispatched from the 2,000-metre marker. And let's give them a chance to settle down. Love Struck's right there. Corridor has a good position. Sylvano's Jet is well placed. Rock Cocktails with the red cap and Warhorses near the rail. Going around them now, Yorkers overcome the draw. Yorkers there. Abercrombie has a good position. They're racing only about 3-4 lengths off the leader. They're followed by Cape Town Noir. Vercingetorix is beautifully placed. Wild One's caught wide out. They're followed further back in the field now as we drop out to Patriotic Rebel. And Telina's one of the trailers with Wild One. Rock Cocktail 1 length, Yorker second, Abercrombie in the blue third. Warhorse at the rail fourth, Vercingetorix is only 5 lengths off the leader. They're followed by Sylvano's Jet and then comes Love Struck. Cape Town Noir, perfect position near the rail. That's about 6 lengths off the leader. On the outside of that, Wiley Hall, Jetiano, then comes American Storm, no worries. Patriotic Rebel, then comes Telina and Wild One. They're about 10-11 lengths off the leader in the Daily News. Rock Cocktail the leader. Abercrombie and Yorker, they share second and third. Then Sylvana's Jed. Vercingetorix is only 5 lengths off the leader. Then Warhorse. Cape Town Noir waits at the rail. Love Struck. Wiley Hall. Jetiano. Wild One's on the move. Then comes No Worries. 10 lengths to make up. Telina's coming around horses. Then comes American Storm. Homeward bound, it's compact. Rock Cocktail goes. Yorker's down the inside second. Then Abercrombie. They're followed towards the outside. Vercingetorix. Love Struck. Corridor. Down the inside. Wars tries to run on. Vercingetorix coming home powerfully now. Rock Cocktail on the inside. Vercingetorix hit the front at the 200. Wiley all on the outside. No Worries running on. Cape Town Noir comes home well. Vercingetorix holding on and won it. Cape Town Noir second or No Worries. And behind that, Wiley Hall, then Rock Cocktail.
Well, if that was appointed to the July, then it's really just muddied the waters, I would have thought.
Well, all the way through, whether I'm eventually proved wrong or right, only the race will show. I've indicated previously when I was on your show that I think the older horses hold the key, and the Daily News didn't change my view on that. Interesting dilemma for the handicappers. Vercingetorix and Cape Town Noir 107 and 110 coming into the Daily News. No Worries and Wiley Hall 97 and 98, and they finished within short heads of each other. Now, did No Worries and Wiley Hall run 10 pounds above form, or are Vercingetorix and Cape Town Noir overrated? And of course, this is a critical question because it determines the weight you carry in the Vodacom Durban July and whether you come into the race with a chance or not. For me, I'd like to be reminded of what Cape Town Noir's actual rating was. What did he run to in the Investec Cape Derby, rather than in the Guineas? Because I think he's bringing his Cape Guineas win into his rating rather than how he performed in the Investec Cape Derby. And that for me is a key.
That's the key. We're going to break because we've got a race coming up and we'll be back. Well, before we get back to discussing the Daily News, I think we got Mr. Paul Lafferty on the line. Laff, how are you? Laff?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Jimbo. Very good.
Excellent. Now, how's it going there in the Magic Million sales? And I see we've been very, very busy in the broodmare section. I see they bought a lot of broodmares.
Yes. Derek Brockman came out, and as you know, they're standing Delago Deluxe in this country, and he's really got involved with a very good team, John Kelly and his team, and it's wonderful. They bought some very, very, very nice mares that they're going to give to Delago Deluxe. So it'll be wonderful to follow his career up here.
And how's the Magic Million sale going? How's it going for the South African buyers? Anything interesting happening?
Yeah, I think it's people are buying at different stages. As I say, Derek came in for the mares. We had Mickey Goss and his girls come through with also Terry Jack buying the weanlings, and they were successful. They bought some very nice stallions and some very nice weanlings that are going to be flying their way back. I managed to get myself a weanling as well, so it hasn't been bad. But now people like Tony Rublin's flown to town, Harry Liley, Roy Mudley and Mumsy are here, Michael Azzi and Sharon, and there's the South African contingent here, and there's quite a few of them in force here, so it should be a good sale.
You're well into day one of the yearling sale. Has anything happened so far that we need to know about?
Sorry, could you repeat that question, James?
I said you're well into day one of the yearling sales. Has anything happened that we should know about that's as of interest?
No, James. The sale starts tomorrow.
Okay.
You know, it's 6 o'clock at night here on the Gold. It's got dark. 10 o'clock tomorrow, the sale will start. There's a lot of interest. There's a what do they call it? An unreserved reduction sale of Patinack Farm.
Yes.
Now that was, it's a great stock. We saw mares going for over $1 million, but it's also a buyer's market. There's a lot of very, very nice horses. I had a good chat with Michael Lazzie and with Tony and myself. We had a good look around, and I'm very pleased with what they got on the ground.
Excellent. Well, Lef, I hope it goes well for you and the rest of the South Africans, and thanks so much for joining us, and have a great sale. And best to Magic Millions.
Yeah. I will do. They're missing you out here, James. Pity about the with the aeroplane. And Billy Henderson sends his best. He said he'd like to have seen you on the golf course, but he does send his best.
Tell him that he's a liar. He'd hate to see me on the golf course because he's my bob machine.
I will do, James. Give my best to the gang back there.
Thanks, Laf. We look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks to you for being on the line. Graeme, unfortunately, you never got that, but we were very busy in the broodmare section. I know that Derek Bruchman bought a lot of mares for Delaga Deluxe, and that's very promising.
Well, it's always an investment in the future when you're buying either fillies or mares, and obviously it's very exciting for the South African breeding industry. We're well represented in the stallion ranks, always a headline each year with a new stallion, and Oratorio's arrival twice over, etc. Org as well, even though we've lost Jetmaster. But so it's very exciting to hear that the guys are investing in broodmares.
Right, let's go back to where we were, and we were chatting about the daily news, the log, and you want to take the fifth. When Bass starts being as bullish as he was.
No, look, I understand exactly. I mean, Michael Bass's sentiments of the 3-year-olds versus the older horses reflect my sentiments, although we could end up with egg on our face come the 7th of July, or a few minutes after the 4:20 on the 6th. That's the beauty of the Vodacom Durban July, as we've said before, comparing the 3-year-old crop with the older crop and where the handicap has pitched them relative to the older crop, because, of course, that's important. I thought Wiley Hall ran a hell of a race, having won the Derby trial, won the Derby, is trapped 4 wide throughout in the Daily News, and got beat, 2-3 short heads. I think he'll go the extra 200 metres comfortably. I think all 4 will see out the 2,200 metres, but they can't all 4 be champions. And why raise the Investec Derby form? Because I think Cape Town Noir's 2,000 metre form is more pertinent than his 1,600 metre form. And we mustn't forget that in the Investec Cape Derby, he had Dynamic behind him. He then had St. Chavez, then Patriotic Rebel and Abercrombie. Well, Patriotic Rebel and Abercrombie ran 5-6 lengths back in this race. They haven't really gone on to flatter the form. Dynamic hasn't been seen. St. Chavez hasn't been seen. And I'm not sure what he officially equaled in the Investec Cape Derby. I will be inquiring that of the handicappers later. But that probably over 2,000 metres more accurately reflects Cape Town Noir's ability. Another question I asked of Carl Nisius, unfair question to compare 2 different horses which he was associated with. I said, how far behind Dynasty would you rate Cape Town Noir? And he said about 8 lengths. So that's a significant difference between Dynasty and Cape Town Noir, in his opinion. So it's a dilemma. I'm not sure how these horses are going to come out of the Daily News. Are they going to bump up No Worries in Wiley Hall? If they do, that could seriously affect Wiley Hall's chances. He's off a very competitive rating at this stage for the Vodacom Durban July. Should they be dropping Vercingetorix and Cape Town Noir and bringing them down a little bit? I'm not sure. It's a difficult job for them, as it is trying to sort out the Vodacom Durban July log. But